Okay, I'm going to be talking about writing strong paragraphs, and as you're doing the peer reviews, maybe this is something that you can point out for individuals that they might be able to include more development in certain paragraphs, or maybe make them more coherent, or maybe make them more unified. But this is also pertaining to your revision of your rough draft as well. So it's almost a review probably of something I hope that you did go over in your class prior to this. But if you have not taken that very recently, then this is a refresher. Okay? This content will be recorded and made available in an accessible alternative format upon request. If you require captioning, transcription, or other communication services to access this content, please contact the Disability Resource Center, DRC, at drc@snhu.edu or 866-305-9430. Southern New Hampshire University does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, disability, age, religion, citizenship, marital status, gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, veteran/military status, or genetic information in its programs and activities. Requests for disabilities accommodations within SNHU's College of Online and Continuing Education should be directed to Disability Resource Center at 866-305-9430. Complaints regarding discrimination and accommodations should be directed to 603-645-9664 or ADA compliance at snhu.edu. Okay, 3 elements of good paragraphs involve unity, detail, and coherence. Unity means that you're on the same topic within the entire paragraph. Detail means that the paragraph is full enough, it's complete enough, it's not too skinny. It evokes pictures in your mind too. And coherence refers to the flow from going from one sentence to the next throughout the order of the paragraph. So when you're considering unity, you want to ask some questions to yourself, or as you're reviewing other papers. Does the paragraph have a topic sentence? Most of the time it has a topic sentence. Sometimes if it doesn't have one, the writer might do better to include one more explicitly. If sometimes the writer doesn't include a topic sentence, and if so, it should be automatically implied and understood well without having to include one. Another question to consider, does everything in the paragraph relate to that topic? Like a magnet, the topic sentence should attract all the other sentences. Anything that doesn't fit should be used in a different place. Does it follow an established organizational pattern, perhaps? Like, does it follow a progression, a narrative progression? Is it descriptive? Does it classify things? So if you've got some digression going on, then it's not unified, okay? But it's better to have them be unified. And this gives you an idea of all the different features that are involved in unity, if it stays on topic. You might consider the different patterns that you could use to create paragraphs. Maybe you're telling a story, maybe it's chronological, maybe it's a flashback, maybe it's simply you're expanding on an idea and explaining it, and sometimes that means going from general to specific. Most of the time, students get into trouble by not being specific enough, because frequently they're talking about abstract ideas. Once you have abstract ideas, you need to concretize them. You need to make sure that the person reading it has a picture in your mind of what you're talking about. The principle of unity defines the scope of the paragraph, what goes in it and what stays out. And sometimes there's a topic sentence, whether it's unstated or stated. If it's stated, it's going to be frequently mentioned first. Sometimes it's last, sometimes it's in the very middle. And like I said, also it might be unstated. Keeping the focus helps greatly to keep the reader's attention. It doesn't dilute the point and put things in there that don't belong. And the focus, everything in the focus is related to the overall topic. So those are some ideas, and this graphics should imply that everything hangs together well. So ask yourself, for the second criteria, idea of detail, which is often referred to as development, you might ask yourself or look at other papers and say, does a paragraph have enough information to get the idea across clearly? Is it too short and it doesn't have enough detail? If the ideas are so well expressed that the readers can remember this point well, that's probably developed well enough, probably has enough detail. If not, consider it. Does the information in the paragraph contain concrete and specific detail? Concrete means things you can taste, touch, smell, hear, see, and feel. Well, I guess that's the same thing as touch. So that's the 5 sentences. I mean, not sentences, 5 senses. You've got your hearing, so you got your vision, you got your olfactory sense, scent, smell, you got your touch, you've got your taste. Okay, so those are the 5 senses. So concrete you can think of it as actual concrete. Is it solid? Even if it's a smell, it's distinct. Think of in Seinfeld, BO, it's alive kind of an entity. Specific means you're not being general, okay? General is the opposite of specific. General means, let's say you have a word like thing. Thing could be referring to something that's abstract or concrete. If I say thing, I might refer to an idea, or if I say thing, I might refer to a computer, and a computer is a concrete thing. An idea isn't. But you want to have them be specific, and that's one reason why jokes are successful, because people are not expecting the person to say something very specific. So also you want to ask, does paragraph signal the reader that an idea is important enough to discuss in depth? If you just have one sentence, then it seems like it's dangling and belongs somewhere else. So here's a little concept you can think of. Is it developed, well developed? Is it full? So you got your skinny guy and your buff guy, your beefy guy. Okay. Here's an example. A strong paragraph has a tight focus. It's important that a paragraph be all about one main thing. Oops, one main things. That's poorly developed. It's only 2 sentences. A strong paragraph should be nicely detailed, full of what writing teachers refer to as development. It's important that a paragraph be well developed because what a writer has in mind for a general principle may not be the same as what a reader might have in mind. For example, if I have a paragraph in which I tell a story about my father jumping into a motel pool to save my little brother, and I just mentioned that one thing, you would probably want to know a little more context. The context could include who else was involved, where it took place, when it took place, why it was memorable, and how serious it was to our family. These details address who, what, when, where, why, and how. Besides these 5 W's and H words, concrete and specific details help readers remember concepts better because they can picture them. When readers are able to picture ideas or narratives, they are more likely to remember them. That's a more well-developed paragraph. Coherence is the third quality of a good paragraph. You can ask yourself or look at others' papers and wonder if does each sentence in the paragraph follow logically from one to the next? Does each sentence use transitions, strategically repeated keywords, and connective phrases well to make its ideas flow as smoothly as possible? Are the sentences in the beginnings and ends of sentences arranged in the ideal order within the paragraph to enable the reader to effortlessly follow its logic? So you think of coherence as having a chain link effect, and also that creates flow, more clarity, and provides connections between ideas. And in the previous paragraph in this presentation, the paragraph mentioned a little more context, and then the next sentence started with the context would include. And then when I referred to the details of 5 W's and H, and and why this was memorable for our family, then in the next sentence I said these details, referring back to the previous sentence. And then another sentence further on ends with can picture them. Then the next sentence says when readers are able to picture whatever. And so these are like little chain links that flow smoothly. That's kind of flow that you're talking about.